Hello again and welcome back. Welcome to a new class, class number 173. We're getting closer and closer, closer and closer, little by little, step by step, closer and closer, cada vez más cerca del final del básico, eh? Closer and closer to the end of the basic program, which means you're getting closer and closer to the beginning of the intermediate program. Okay, but we have a lot of work to do. We cannot rest on our laurels. In English, it's the same in Spanish, descansar en los laureles, pero en nuestros laureles se dice en inglés. We can't rest on our laurels. We have a lot of work to do. We can't let our guard down. Keep your guard up. Don't let your guard down. All right. Review of class 172, please, camera number 1. All right, are you there? Okay, good. All right, to retire again. Otra vez jubilarse, pero es que quiero que se os quede de por vida. Si no puedo conseguir mis clases, lo voy a conseguir en la tele. All right, to retire. ¿Cuándo te vas a jubilar? When are you going to retire? Me jubilé el pasado año. I retired last year. I retired last year. You retired last year? Yes, I retired last year. Why did you retire last year? Well, because last year I turned 65 and I retired. You're not 65. No, I'm not 65, but for the purposes of this class, today, yes, I'm 65. No, I'm 66 because I retired last year. Most people in Spain retire before the age of 65, I think. Some people retire at the age of 65, and some people retire later. But I have a question. The official retirement age is 65. Is that correct? So, do you retire on your 65th birthday, or do you retire on your 66th birthday? I suppose you retire on your 65th birthday. You retire when you turn 65 to retire. Are you going to retire soon? When are you going to retire? When you retire, cuando te jubiles. When you retire, will you have enough money to finance your retirement? If you retire at the age of 65 and you die at the age of 90, that's 25 years. Will you have enough money to finance those 25 years without working? Do you have enough? Are you saving money now for your retirement? Are you saving money for retirement? Or are you going to depend on Social Security only? When you retire, cuando te jubiles de nuevo, estoy hablando en el futuro, pero estoy usando, en español utilizáis el subjuntivo cuando tú te jubiles, en inglés cuando te jubilas. When you retire, do you think Social Security will have enough money to pay your retirement? If you're 30 years old now, then you will retire probably in 35 or 37 years. Will the Social Security system have enough money to cover you during retirement? And if you live to be 100, it's 45 years, 35 years, yes, until, will you have enough money for your retirement? Are you saving money now for your retirement? Me, yes. I'm saving money for my retirement always, always. I started a retirement plan when I was 28, and I continue the same retirement plan. And when I turn 65, I will have a lot of money in my retirement plan. So when I retire, there's money waiting for me from a good, strong, international institution. Yes, if you want to have a lot of money when you retire, you need to start now. Not tomorrow, now. If you're 22 and you have a job, start now. A little every month or every year, and don't stop. Discipline. The secret to have money when you retire is to save a little bit and never touch it, and save it every year. That's what we call in English a get-rich-slowly plan, okay? Many people are trying to find a get-rich-quickly plan. And that's very difficult. But to get rich slowly is not difficult. It requires perseverance, discipline, every year, okay? So, when you retire, okay? Normally, a football player retires between the age of 32 and 36. Normally, an American football player retires between the age of 30 and 35. Normally, a tennis player, a professional, a top-class professional tennis player, retires between the age of 27 and 32, normally. Normally, an American baseball player retires between the age of 35 and 40, later. Normally, a hockey player, ice hockey player, retires between the age of 32 and 35. Normally, a professional athlete, the track and field, atletismo, normally they retire between the age of 28 and 31 or 32. Okay? Now, I remember some football players, soccer players, have retired very late. I remember the goalkeeper in Italy, Mr. Soff, he retired very late. Other players retire early, okay? Some players retire before they reach the age of 30. Other players retire after the age of 30. Most professional football players, first division, they retire around the age 30 or a little later. And in second and third division, do they retire early or do they retire later? Or do they have another job at the same time, simultaneously, okay, to retire? How, and English teachers, when do English teachers retire? English teachers probably never retire. They continue teaching English, full-time or part-time, forever. And miners, when do miners retire? Los mineros, coal miners. They retire, I think, between the age 48 and 52. Now, personally, I'm going to retire from this segment of the class, but I'll be back.
Hola, soy David. Hello, I'm David, and welcome to class 173, part 1, in which we review class 172 that we did, before,
Okay.
yeah, antes. What we're going to do is we're going to look at some verbs. Vamos a ver algunos verbos y también vamos a hablar de restaurantes también. Y conmigo hoy está Pilar. ¿Qué tal?
Fine, thank you. And you, David?
Muy bien, muy bien. Todavía hago muchos errores, pero bueno.
Cada vez menos.
Da igual. Cada vez menos,
Sí.
exactamente. Hay que ser positivo. ¿Yeah?
Claro.
Bien, okay, so the first part we're going to look at 5 verbs. 5 verbs. First of all, to retire, yeah, which hemos visto estos verbos, yeah.
Yes.
So, to retire, to help, to drop, to play, and to belong, okay? So, quiero que me contestas en el negativo, siempre. So,
Okay.
no. Okay, so did your neighbor retire last year? Di que no. A ver. Muy bien. ¿Cómo se dice retire?
Jubilarse.
Jubilarse. Muy bien. So, did your neighbor retire last year? Di que no.
No, he didn't retire last week. Or
Last year.
Last year.
So, my neighbor didn't retire last year.
My neighbor didn't retire last year.
Very good. Last year.
Last year.
Last year.
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 Again.
My neighbor didn't retire Last year.
Last year.
Last year.
Year, no.
No,
Year.
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 Again.
No, my neighbor didn't retire last year.
Mejor. Last year.
Okay.
Last year. Okay. Next one. Did you help me last week? Dije no. Very good. Did you help me last week? Did you help me last week?
No, I didn't.
No.
No?
No.
No, no. No, I didn't help you last week.
Very good. One more time. Last.
No.
Last week.
Okay. No, I didn't help you last week.
Yes. Again.
No, I didn't help you last week.
Very good. Okay. Next one. Did I drop a cup of coffee yesterday? Dije no. Did I drop a cup of coffee yesterday? A ver. Good. Did I drop a cup of coffee yesterday? ¿Qué significa drop?
Que si se te cayó una,
Sí, exactamente. Yeah.
una taza de café. No, you didn't drop a cup of coffee last year.
Bien, otra vez. Ayer.
Yesterday. No, you didn't drop a cup of coffee yesterday.
Very good. Yesterday, not yesterday. Yesterday. Next one. Okay. Did we play tennis last month? Did we play tennis last month? Dije no. Good. Okay.
No.
No.
No. Oye, no, we didn't play tennis last month.
Month. We didn't play tennis last month.
No, we didn't play tennis last month.
Month. Muy bien. Not month. Month. No.
No. Month.
Muy feo. Month.
Okay,
Month. Again.
No, we didn't play tennis last month.
Very good. Okay. No, we didn't play tennis last month. Repeat. Very good. Another one. Did that pen belong to your great-grandfather? Great-grandfather, bisabuelo? A ver. Very good. Okay. Did that pen belong to your great-grandfather?
No, that pen didn't belong to my great-grandfather.
Good. Great-grandfather, bisabuelo, yeah?
Yes.
Bisabuela, great-grandfather. So no, that pen didn't belong to my great-grandfather. Ahora tenemos que cambiar de tema y hablar de restaurantes.
Okay.
¿Vale? ¿Te parece?
Yes.
Okay, let's go then. So, ask me if you can see the menu. Ask me if you can see the menu. Primero en casa, okay? Ask me if you can see the menu. A ver, en casa. ¿Están allí? Ahí, okay. Ask me if you can see the menu. Muy bien, okay. Pilar, ask me if you can see the menu.
Can I see the menu?
Muy bien, can I see the menu? Repeat.
Can I see the menu?
Can I see the menu? Can I see the menu? One more time.
Can I see the menu?
Very good. Can I see the menu? Okay, the next one. Very, very common question. Ask me if you can have some water. Ask me if you can have some water. A ver. Very good. A ver.
Can I have some water?
Can I have some water? Some water, not any water, really.
No.
Because in this case, you are expecting a positive answer, yeah?
Okay.
They're not going to say no. So you say, can I have some water? Can I have some water? Repeat.
Can I have some water?
Very good. Can I have some water? Can I have some water? Okay. Now, ask me if I can have today's special. Today's special, yeah? Plato especial del día. Yep.
Okay.
A ver, Pilar.
Can I have
Today's special.
Today's special?
Can I have today's special?
Can I have today's special?
Very good, okay. Ask me what today's special is.
What today's special is?
No, what's
No.
today's special? That's it. What
Es
is?
verdad.
What is?
Yes. What's the special?
What's today's special?
What's today's special?
Well, I'm not going to tell you. No voy a decirte porque no tenemos tiempo. Qué pena.
Okay.
Bueno, muchas gracias. Muchas
Thank
gracias
you.
en casa. Hasta luego.
All right, to work. Work, worked, worked. It's a very easy job. It's a very easy job. It's a very easy word, but for some people, difficult to pronounce. Camera number 1, please. Okay. The pronunciation of the simple, easy verb to work. Veámosla. let's look at the pronunciation. Because many Spanish people pronounce it incorrectly. And it sounds like andar or caminar, to walk. Okay. The Americans and Canadians say work, 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 work. Suena un R, americana canadiense. Y si no lo podéis hacer, prefiero hasta la R española. Work. I work in a big company. Prefiero eso. Británicos. I work, work. Pero no walk. Walk is andar. Work. I work in a big company. Americanos, I work in a big company. Okay? Now, work. The past tense is worked, 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 worked. My father worked in a big company. My father worked, he worked in an American company. He worked in an insurance company, seguros, in insurance escrito. He worked in an insurance company. He worked in an insurance, Trabalenguas para vosotros al principio, pero luego no. He worked in an insurance company. He worked, 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 worked in an insurance company. He worked in a life insurance company. He didn't work in a fire insurance company. He didn't work in a property insurance company. He didn't work in a car insurance company. He worked in a life insurance company. And he worked in an office, an agency. He didn't work in the main office in New York City. No, he worked in an office in Houston. First, he worked in an office in Houston, Texas. And then he worked in an office in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And finally, he worked in an office in Corpus Christi, Texas, on the coast. He worked in the Houston office for 12 years. He worked in the Oklahoma office for 12 years. And finally, he worked in the Corpus Christi office for 11 years. So he worked for 35 years in this company. He worked. Okay, now, Maria didn't work in that company, and she doesn't work in that company now. Maria works here. Maria works in Aprende Inglés Tuve. She works here. And she works as a floor manager or floor technician. She works as a floor manager. I don't work as a floor manager. I work as an English teacher. And last year I worked as an English teacher too. All right. And where did I work? 20 years ago? 20 years ago I lived and worked in Spain. And I worked as an English teacher. Fijaos que estoy usando as, no like. I worked as an English teacher. Si dijera I worked like an English teacher, si le hacía las veces de profesor, trabajaba como si fuera profesor, pero no lo era. Similar a un profesor de inglés. No, es que trabajé de profesor. I worked as an English teacher. And I worked a lot of hours. In the 1970s, I started working as an English teacher. I started working as an English teacher in 1974. And from between 1974 and 1984, I probably worked 50 hours a week teaching. A lot of hours. 45 or 50 hours in class. So I worked a lot of hours teaching. I worked. Now, from 1984 to 1994, I probably worked an average of 6 hours a day in class. In class. So I worked 25 hours a week in class in the 1980s. In the 1990s, probably I worked 15 or 20 hours a week, but for 10 years. And finally, from between the year 2000 and 2010, I worked maybe an average of 2 or 3 hours a day in class. Now I don't work in class. Now I only teach on television and on the radio. But I spend a lot of hours teaching. Yeah, so I still work a lot. And Maria works a lot, but she doesn't work as much as I do. Yeah, she works a lot, but she doesn't work as much as I do. I work more than she does. She doesn't work as much as I do, but she works a lot. Me, I'm a workaholic. I work too much. I work too much. I'm an old man now, but still I work too much. I work 60 hours a week, 12 hours a day. I work a lot. I work from 7:30 in the morning to 8:30 at night. 13 hours. Take away 1 hour for lunch. I work 12 hours a day. I work a lot. I work 60 hours a week. 10 years ago in the 90s, in the 1990s, I worked 10 hours a day or more, 12 hours a day, always. And sometimes I worked on the weekends. Pronunciación aquí, worked, walked, anduve, caminé. I walked, fui andando hasta la playa o hasta la farmacia, digamos. I walked to the pharmacy. Trabajé en esa farmacia durante 2 años. I worked in that pharmacy for 2 years, and every day I walked to the pharmacy to work. And when I finished, I walked home. I walked there in the morning, and I walked back in the afternoon, and I worked there for 8 hours. And I worked with a pharmacist. I'm not a pharmacist, but I was helping the pharmacist or the chemist. And I worked with the pharmacist 8 hours a day, helping. And I worked a lot of hours, okay? And I walked there, talked. I talked with the pharmacist all day. Talked, parked, worked, walked, talked, y algunos más. I'll be back in a few minutes. All right. I work here every day. I come here every day to work. I work here every day, and Maria works here every day too. I work here, and she works here. We both work here. Last year, I worked here, and she worked here. Last year, we both worked here. Worked here. Worked here. La sonido de T de work casi se enlace con here. Worked here. Yes. We work together. She works with me. She works with me, and I work with her. We work together, the dynamic duo. And last year, she worked with me, and I worked with her. Last year, we worked together. Last year, we were, éramos, o fuimos, the dynamic duo, okay? We worked together. Yeah, that's the idea. Teamwork. All right, I'll be back after our next teacher.
Hello, my name is Carly. Nice to see you again. Before I begin class, I'd like to introduce you to my guest, Pilar. How are you?
Fine, thank you. And you, Carly?
Great, thank you. Today, if you're ready, Pilar, we are going to work on the verb to work for. In Spanish?
Trabajar para.
Exactly, good. So to work for is a direct translation. I work for Vaughan Systems. Aha, Vaughan Systems. Pilar, what is that in Spanish?
Vaughan system.
Good. Everybody says Vaughan in Spanish, but in English, Vaughan. Vaughan. And on top of that, además, on top of that is the V. Vaughan Systems.
Okay.
Vaughan Systems. Tell me, Vaughan Systems.
Vaughan system.
Perfect. Pilar's been practicing. Vaughan Systems. Good.
Yes.
With the V. V-O-N. Vaughan. It's a quite common last name. Richard Vaughan, right? Is a common last name. Good. So I work for Vaughan Systems. The past of work?
Worked.
Good. With the T. One more time.
Worked.
Excellent. So worked as a T. Worked? Don't say that. Worked. Yesterday I worked. Good. All right, so at home, practice with us, and Pilar is going to ask me questions. I'm going to ask her questions. You're going to practice at home with your pronunciation. So, Pilar, I'm going to give you a sentence in Spanish. You give it to me in English.
Okay.
Ella trabaja para esa compañía.
She works for that company.
Very good. So she works for that company. Esa. That company. Good. Let's see. ¿Trabajas para Vaughan Sistemas?
Do you work for Vaughan Systems?
Ooh, very good. One more time.
Do you work for Vaughan Systems?
Excellent with the Vaughan. I love it. Do you work for Vaughan Systems? Yes, I do. All right. Ask me if I worked for Vaughan Systems 3 years ago.
Did you work for Vaughan Systems 3 years ago?
Very good. No, I didn't. I didn't live in Spain 3 years ago. So I
Okay.
didn't work for Vaughan Systems 3 years ago. Very good. Pilar, ella trabajó para esa compañía el año pasado.
She worked for that company last year.
Very good. So she worked for that company last year. At home, worked. You have to force yourself to say worked with a T. Worked. Tell me.
Worked.
Good. And I can see Pilar go worked. And it's good. That's a good reminder to say worked. You have to create some sort of memory to make yourself eliminate the E and pronounce the T. Very good. So yesterday I worked. Very strong at home. Good. Pilar, ask me if he works for Vaughan Systems.
Does he work for Vaughan Systems?
Excellent. Good. And that's such good pronunciation of the V. Does he work for Vaughan Systems? Yes, he does. Over here he does, all right? Over there he doesn't, but here he does. Very good. Pilar, ask me if I worked at an airport. I'm going to change it. Ask me if I worked for the airport in Vancouver 2 years ago. I'll repeat if you need to.
Yes. Did you work at the airport?
You could say at, but here we're going to practice for. So did you work?
I see.
Ask me if I worked for the airport in Vancouver 2 years ago.
Okay. Did you work for the airport in Vancouver 2 years ago?
Very good with the V. One more time.
Did you work for the airport in Vancouver 2 years ago?
Excellent. Very good. Very long as well.
Yes.
Did you work for the airport in Vancouver? Or did you work for the Vancouver airport is another option. And Pilar said, did you work at the airport? Is perfectly correct. You can work at places or you can work for companies. And because the airport is a place and the company, you can say, did you work for the Vancouver airport?
Okay.
Very good. No, I didn't work for the Vancouver airport. Ask me if he worked for a bread shop last year.
Panadería. Yes.
Good.
Did he work for a bread shop last year?
Good. Yes, he worked in the past. Yes, he worked for a bread shop last year. All right, he worked at a bread shop or he worked for a bread shop.
Okay.
Good job. All right, Pilar. Did you work for a shoe shop last year?
No, I didn't work for a shoe shop.
Good. Ooh, we got some phonetics here.
shop?
Shoe shop. Shoe shop.
Shoe shop.
Very good. Shoe shop. One more time.
Did you? No.
For you, did you work?
Yes, I didn't work for a shoe shop last year.
Excellent. Good. Shoe shop. All right. So this panaderia, zapateria, this ia, this eria, we say the noun plus the shop. Bread shop, shoe shop, fashion shop, clothes shop. So
Okay.
it's as easy as in Spanish. You say the noun and then you say the shop. Perfect.
Okay.
Good. Ask me if I worked for the University of Alabama 4 years ago.
Did you work for the University of Alabama 4 years ago?
Perfect. Very good. Yes, I worked for the University of Alabama 4 years ago. You have options. I worked on campus, right? Or I worked for the university because that's the body, the business. All right?
Okay,
Very good.
okay.
All right. Did you work for the Madrid airport last year?
No, I didn't work for the Madrid airport last year.
Very good. Or last week, or very good. Now, it's not Madrid's airport. It's the Madrid airport, like Pilar said. So, did you work for the Madrid airport or for Barajas airport? But you don't have to make it possessive S. You shouldn't make it possessive S.
Okay.
Madrid's airport is located in the east of the city. But you say, did you work for the Madrid airport?
Okay.
Because it's just the place where it is. Very good. Ask me if I worked for a fashion shop when I was in high school.
Did you work for a fashion shop when you were at school?
Good. When I was at high school.
When you were at high school?
Excellent. One more time.
Did you work for a fashion shop when you were at second school?
At, what do we call it? High.
I said a high school.
Good. You're right, though. Secondary school or high school. They're both correct. But in
Okay.
American English and in Canada, we say high school. One more time.
Did you work for a fashion shop when you were at high school?
Very good. She has to think high school. It's a good thing. High school, right? Not low.
Yes.
Good. No. Sorry, that was a long question and a short answer. No, I didn't work for a fashion shop when I was at high school, right? Secondary school's perfect, or high school, which is probably more common where I come from. Good, last one, Pilar. Ask me if I'll work for a fashion shop next year.
Will you work for a fashion shop next year?
Perfect. No, I don't think I'll work for a fashion shop next year. All right, so remember, work for companies. You work for your company. Keep practicing. Bye-bye.
Okay, mine, yours, his, hers, ours, theirs. Possessive pronouns. Camera one. Okay, Maria is a friend of mine. También es vecina mía. Eh? She's a neighbor of mine. Yeah. She's a friend of mine. She is a friend of mine. Literalmente ella es una amiga de mía, decimos en inglés. Una amiga mía. She's a friend of mine. She's a friend of mine. Friend of mine. Frienda. La palabra of se escribe OF. Of. Sin embargo, cuando lo decimos corrido, she's a friend of mine. 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 Frankenstein. Friend of mine. Frankenstein's a friend of mine. Okay. I'm a friend of hers. I'm a friend of hers. I'm a friend of hers. Nosotros decimos a. Vosotros vais a decir of, por favor. Okay. Native people can take certain liberties. And Spanish people can take liberties in Spanish. But not students of Spanish or students of English, no. Yo no digo hablao, I say hablado. I don't say trabajado, I say trabajado. Okay? I can't take liberties. You can. And in English, you can't. She is a friend of mine. I'm a friend of hers. She's a neighbor of mine. Somos vecinos. And I'm a neighbor of hers. All right? You're a student of mine. I'm a teacher of yours. You have 10 teachers, by the way, I think. 10 teachers. You have me, Richard Brown, David Waddell, Layla, Fitz, Kyle, Carly. I'm missing two. Hoy me van a matar. Alberto. And I'm missing one more. I'm missing somebody. And Natasha. Okay. I think I covered them all. Plus me. No, me falta uno. Porque somos 10 en total. I'm still missing another teacher. I can't remember who it is. But I'm sure it's a good teacher. Okay, so you are a student of ours. We're your teacher. I'm a teacher of yours. Alberto is a teacher of yours. Natasha is a teacher of yours. Fitz is a teacher of yours. Layla is a teacher of yours. Hannah, ahí está. Lovely Hannah. I forgot Hannah. Our Korean American. She's a teacher of yours too. You have some very good teachers. Natasha's an excellent teacher. Hannah's an excellent teacher. Alberto is an excellent teacher. Kyle, Fitz, Natasha. Wow, there are a lot of excellent teachers. All of them. Richard Brown, David Waddell. There are many more excellent teachers. And they are teachers of yours. You're not teachers of theirs, okay? You're not a teacher of theirs. They're teachers of yours, okay? Él es amigo mío. He's a friend of mine. I'm a friend of his. Es vecino mío. He's a neighbor of mine. So, I'm a neighbor of his. H-I-S, his, no of him. Okay? Soy vecino de ella. I'm a neighbor of hers. Con ese. She's a neighbor of mine. I'm a neighbor of yours. You are, contracción, you're a neighbor of mine. We are neighbors. We live near each other. I live near you, and you live near me. So we live near each other. I'm a neighbor of yours. I'm a neighbor, I'm a neighbor of yours. I'm a neighbor of yours, and you're a neighbor of mine. We're neighbors. Okay? They're neighbors of ours. We're neighbors of theirs. They're friends of ours. We're friends of theirs. Okay? I'm a friend of his. He's a friend of mine. I'm a friend of hers. She's a friend of mine. We're friends. Okay? We like each other. I like her. She likes me. We like each other. We're friends. Okay? She's a friend of mine. She's also a neighbor of mine. Yeah. Yes. And also she's a cousin of mine. I have 37 cousins. 37 primos. Yes. She's a cousin of mine. Yeah. I'm a cousin of hers. Maria's a cousin of Jorge's. And Jorge's a cousin of mine. So Maria's a cousin of mine. All right? There are a lot of cousins in Aprende Inglés TV. All right? Yes. A friend of mine. Un amigo mío, a friend of mine. Un amigo de él, a friend of his. De ella, a friend of hers. Un amigo tuyo, a friend of yours. Un amigo de ellos, a friend of theirs. Un amigo nuestro, a friend of ours. Okay. Are you a student of mine or a student of Maria's? Are you a friend of mine or a friend of Maria's? ¿Por qué pongo la S al final del nombre? ¿Tú eres amigo de María? Are you a friend of Maria's? ¿Por qué la S? En este caso, apóstrofe S. ¿Por qué no se puede decir a friend of Maria? Tampoco suena mal en inglés decir you are a friend of Maria. Pero decimos you're a friend of Maria's. Porque estamos con el posesivo. Si yo dijera you are a friend of Maria, sin la S, tendría que decir entonces you are a friend of her, not a friend of hers. Y tendría que decir you're a friend of me, no you're a friend of mine. Entonces, para respetar los conceptos de posesivo aquí, you're a friend of mine, pronombre posesivo. You're a friend of Maria's, lo posesivo. Okay, not a friend of Maria. Aunque no suene mal otro. Okay? Pero si suena mal, you're a friend of me. All right. So, are you a neighbor of mine? I live in the center of Madrid. Are you a neighbor of mine? Yes or no? Am I a neighbor of yours? Are we neighbors? Do we live near each other? Do we live close to each other? Or do you live far from me? If you live far from me, I live in the center of Madrid, then you're not a neighbor of mine, and I'm not a neighbor of yours. Now, are you a student of mine? I think so. Am I a teacher of yours? Because you have 10 teachers. Am I a teacher of yours? Yes, I am. Soy uno de tus profes. Soy un profesor tuyo, porque tienes 10 profesores. Y yo soy uno de ellos, así que soy profesor tuyo. You're a teacher of mine. No, excuse me, I'm a teacher of yours. You're a student of mine. You're also a student of Alberto's. You're also a student of Hannah's. You're also a student of Fitz's. You're also a student of Richard's. You're also a student of Layla's, etc., etc. Mine, yours, his, hers, ours, theirs. See you in a few minutes.
Hello and welcome. I am Kyle, as you probably know by now, I'm sure, and I'm here today with Esther. Esther, who you know as well. Esther is here a lot. How are you, Esther?
I am fine, thank you, Kyle. How are you?
Very good, very good. Esther, today we have an interesting grammar topic, but first, our 5 words of vocabulary, okay? Are you ready? And Esther, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay, very good. The first word today, más que. 2 words.
More than.
More than. More than. More than. And more than, right? See my tongue? More than. Again?
More than.
More than. 75% is more than 50%,
Yes.
right? Okay, number 2, helado. Oh, very good word. Helado.
Ice cream.
Ice cream. Ice cream, yes. There was an old song that went, I scream, ah! But I scream, you scream, we all scream for
An ice cream.
ice cream. Yeah. I scream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream. Great. Isla.
Island.
Island. Good. Say that again for the people at home.
Island.
Good, because it's not Iceland. No S. Well, there is an S, but we don't pronounce it. We say island, island, island. Very good. Island. Good. And number 4, imposible.
Impossible.
Easy, right? Impossible, 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 impossible. The final word is en vez de.
Instead of.
Instead of, yes. Instead of. Would you like chocolate ice cream instead of vanilla ice cream?
No. I prefer chocolate ice cream.
So you would take chocolate instead of vanilla. Is that right?
Yes, it's true.
Okay.
I prefer chocolate ice cream.
Chocolate.
Chocolate
Yeah.
ice cream instead of vanilla ice cream.
Vanilla.
Vanilla.
Yes. It's interesting. We say chocolate. Chocolate. 2 syllables. Chocolate. 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 We don't say chocolate.
Yes.
Chocolate.
Chocolate.
Chocolate ice cream. Ask me if I like chocolate ice cream.
Do you like chocolate ice cream?
Yes, of course. I love it. Okay. Do you? Of course.
Yes.
You prefer it. You'd rather have that instead of vanilla, right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. Okay, so now we're going to talk about a structure. A friend of mine. Un amigo mío, right? A friend of mine. A neighbor of mine. A neighbor of mine was born in Japan. A neighbor of mine. Un vecino mío, right? So, is a friend of yours in the studio today, Esther?
Yes, there is a friend of mine in the studio today.
Okay, there is a friend of mine in the studio. Or you could simply say, a friend of mine is in the studio today. Okay. Are any neighbors of yours Mongolian?
No. There is.
Well, you can just, are any? So you can say, no, no neighbors of mine, because I assume you have several neighbors.
Yes.
None of them are Mongolian. So you could say, no neighbors of mine are
Mongolian.
Mongolian. Again?
Yes. No. No. No neighbors of mine are Mongolian.
Okay. Ask me if a friend of mine is on holiday. Kyle, is a friend of yours on holiday? Yes, yeah. A friend of mine is on holiday. Ask me if a friend of mine works in Alaska.
Does a friend of yours work in Alaska?
Yes, yes. Does a friend of yours work in Alaska? Yes. Yeah. A friend of mine works in Alaska. It's very cold in the winter. Yes. Ask me if a colleague of mine is Irish.
Is a colleague of yours Irish?
Irish? Of course. Who?
Yes. Fitz.
Fitz, of course, he's Irish. A colleague of mine, who you all know, Fitz, is Irish, right?
Yes.
Ask me if a friend of mine works in Russia.
Does a friend of yours work in Russia?
Very good. No, a friend of mine doesn't work in Russia. I don't have any friends that work in Russia. No. Is a friend of yours on holiday?
Yes, a friend of mine is on holiday now.
Okay. Does a friend of yours live in Barcelona?
Yes, a friend of mine lives in Barcelona.
Yeah. A friend of hers lives in Barcelona. A friend of mine lives in Alaska. A friend of yours lives in London, maybe? A lot of places, right? How do you say, un amigo mío conoció a Tom Cruise? We say in English, Tom Cruise. Not Cruise, but Cruise, right?
A friend of mine met Tom Cruise.
Yeah. Did a friend of yours meet Tom Cruise?
No.
Oh.
No.
Okay. Un vecino suyo es científico.
A neighbor of mine is a scientific.
Scientist.
Scientist.
Yeah,
Yes.
a friend of, a neighbor. A neighbor of mine is
Scientist.
a scientist.
A scientist.
Yes, when we talk about professions, we use the article, a scientist. I'm a teacher. He's a scientist. A neighbor of mine is a scientist. Yeah. Un amigo de ella jugaba al fútbol profesionalmente.
A friend of hers played football professional.
Professionally, or it's more common to say played professional football.
Yes.
Yeah. A friend of hers, right?
A friend of hers.
A friend of hers.
A friend of hers played
Played, yeah, it was years ago. Jugaba.
professional football.
Yes, a friend of hers played professional football. Very good, yeah. Ella conduce como un amigo mío. She drives like a friend of mine. Very good, that is, right? Un amigo mío tiene 10 perros. Incredible.
A friend of mine has 10 dogs.
A friend of mine has 10 dogs. Yeah, a friend of mine. Very good. Thank you very much, Esther.
Thank you, guys.
Because we're out of time. Good job to you at home. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Okay. Another class, another day, another step in the right direction, another step forward. Well, in fact, one step back and 2 steps forward, because every day we take one step back and then we proceed to take 2 steps forward. Slowly but surely, step by step, little by little, we cover the essential elements, the basic elements of the English language. Y digo a los de intermedio avanzado, yes. Every day, well, every day no, but often I tell the intermediate and advanced students that the most important elements of the English language are contained in the basic program, your program. No menospreciéis lo que estáis aprendiendo ahora, porque es la base esencial de todo. Es lo más importante de todo. See you tomorrow.